away from the game that should decide first place in the CFL West. The BC Lions play the Edmonton Eskimos on the Canadian Football Network. The Canadian Football Network. Today's game from Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton is brought to you by Petro-Canada Dealers and Agents. Our energy is Canada. And by Carling O'Keefe Breweries. The CFL is the game around here. We are happy, and the teams are too, that the sun is shining on this first place battle. Good afternoon and welcome to the Canadian Football Network. I'm Dave Hodge. The BC Lions and the Edmonton Eskimos are tied for first place and most probably will settle first place today. If the Lions win, they finish first. If the Eskimos win by 8 or more points, they finish first. If the Eskimos win by 7 or less, however, the issue would remain somewhat undecided, though Edmonton would still be strongly favored. A win over Ottawa next week would give them first place. The Eskimos lost to the Lions in the only previous meeting between these teams. That was way back in July at BC Place Stadium. A lot has happened to the two teams since then, but they find themselves tied for first place on the second last week of the season. This is the first game of the season for James Quick Parker, last year's Shenley defensive winner, and he's a big factor in this game. Neil Lumsden, Joe Farragalli of the Eskimos, obviously intends to test James Parker early.
He could be a big factor, Dave, especially for the BC Lions, but as you said, Joe Farragalli wants to find out early whether James Parker still has the mobility. Can he move around? They're going to go after him and early.
First play of the game should be right at James Quick Parker when the Eskimos get the ball. We're glad you're with us. CFL West, first place here at Commonwealth Stadium.
Why is this man being so unfair to his wife? Enjoying his cold relief while she suffers, feeling no desire to sneeze while she stifles hers, without all the coughs and the runny nose that torture her night, resting in the same bed where she tosses and turns. Why? Because while she took a cold tablet, he took NyQuil. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head fever so you can rest medicine. Now a new cherry flavor, too.
The smart do-it-yourselfer's game plan includes a run to a True Value hardware store. And while you're there, check out Mecklenburg Duncan winterizing supplies. They're easy to install and make energy-saving sense, like their aluminum and vinyl weather strip that keeps costly heat inside your home. And high-quality door sweeps and thresholds for entry and garage doors are real draft blockers. You'll find a complete lineup of MD weatherproofers at participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
The upset of the week is brought to you by Pepto-Bismol. For most common stomach discomforts, the one that coats is the only one you need. NC State was 2-4 and 19-point underdogs when they came to Clemson to face the 7th-ranked Tigers. No matter, in the first half, the Wolfpack dominated, 14 first downs compared to 1 for Clemson as the visitors built a 30-0 lead. The Tigers mounted a furious second-half comeback but lost 30-28. The Pepto-Bismol upset of the week.
Daddy?
What? What's the matter?
Teddy says he has a tummy ache. It hurts.
What about Teddy's big buddy? Do you have a tummy ache, too?
Mm-hmm.
I think you both need this.
Here it comes, the soothing relief of Pepto-Bismol. The one that coats is the only one you need.
Feeling better?
Fine, but Teddy says he needs another story.
The BC Lions have allowed the fewest points in the CFL this season, and here's one big reason: a 5-man secondary. Francis Crawford, Martin, Bird, and Gooch, the best unit in the league. Kevin Konar, John Ulmer, and Glenn Jackson are the linebackers, and all eyes are up front on James Quick Parker, returning to play his first game of this season today. He'll be trying to get at Matt Dunnigan, the Edmonton quarterback, who'll have Milson Jones and Chris Skinner as his running backs. The receivers, Brian Kelly, the best ever in the CFL, and Stephen Jones on the other side. Rick House and Marco Sincar inside. It'll be Trevor Bowles, Blanchard, Conop, Stevenson, and Pache up front for Edmonton. This game could really be something special, and there's another one in the CFL today in the very same category. First place in the East is on the line. If the Winnipeg Blue Bombers hold that lead and win, they will finish on top ahead of the Toronto Argonauts. This game does not affect the standings. Two third-place teams meeting, and Calgary leads Hamilton 30-21 in the third quarter. Louis Pasaglia gets set to start this game, and Gizmo Williams may be at the other end of his kickoff. Pasaglia rather definitely kicks it away from Williams to Stephen Jones. Jones right up the middle, bumps into his own blocker, and then into a VC tackler past the 30-yard line.
Farragilly had mentioned this year, every time they kick the ball, or any team kicks the ball away from Gizmo Williams, it'll go to Stephen Jones. Oftentimes it's a little shorter. The Eskimos, again, get good field position.
Matt Dunnigan, a big game last week as the Edmonton Eskimos put themselves in position to clinch first place today by beating the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. We'll have a look at James Quick Parker right off the bat. Dunnigan is under a rush, shakes away from it, still on his feet. And Parker got him. A great start for James Parker.
If Farragilly said they were going to go right at James Parker, especially if they started on the right hash, they would try to sprint to him. He's going to come in, he's going to connect with the running back, and now try to release. A good job by Milson Jones getting James Parker past the play. But this is what makes him so good.
Still quick as ever, and on a day like this, everybody can run around and feel good. 9 degrees, not too much wind, and the field is in great shape. Second down, 14 after the Parker sack. Dunnigan throws it up. Nobody is there for either side, and so the Eskimos fail to move the ball and in fact go backwards a few yards the first time they scrimmage it.
Well, you'd almost have to look like that at that first series, Dave, as a testing block for the Eskimos. Joe Farragilly made it quite plain when we met with them that they want to find some things out, and they're going to have to find them out early. That will dictate how their offense is to go today and where they can work.
Among other things, today is a meeting, a matchup, a showdown of the two best punt returners in the CFL this season. Gizmo Williams for Edmonton, and Larry Crawford is now back for the BC Lions. He has run 3 punts for touchdowns. Williams has 4 plus last week's return of an unsuccessful field goal. Right to Crawford's arms. He tries to get outside. Eskimos don't allow it.
Well, the man that makes that tackle, Blake Marshall, is one of the key players for the Eskimos, not only on special teams today, but on offense. He's been a big part of every time he gets on the field. Good, big, strong, very aggressive, has a very good focus on what to do when he gets on the football field, and we may see him on offense today, too.
The key to Crawford's long returns this season, an ability to get outside. The Eskimos obviously did not let him do that. Lions had success running last week in Calgary, and they come out running today.
Larry Donovan doesn't want to miss a step. He would just like to continue on where they left off last week at McMahon Stadium against the Stampeders. Now, they had a remarkable statistic. Last week, they controlled the ball for 42 minutes plus some 17, 18 seconds. They want to duplicate that performance offensively again today.
Just a little more than a yard to go on second down. Larry Donovan really believes in establishing the run, and Freddie Sims did that with the first down. It was a loose ball on second down that is recovered by the Lions, but I don't believe they have the first down.
Looked like Roy DeWalt just backed away from his center, Ian Sinclair, a touch early. The ball popped up in the air, and they were able to recover it, but they gave away an opportunity to get a first down and to keep their first drive alive. It's interesting how it can happen. The center can fire out just a little bit too quickly, and with the wall pulling out, that half an inch makes enough to have him drop the football.
Third of the yard, and the Lions are punting, or at least lining up in punt formation. There's been a lot of talk in the Edmonton dressing room about Louis Pasaglia throwing the ball or running with it. He will kick it, and not very well. The first chance he gets this afternoon. Henry Williams waits for it. No blocking help. He gives himself a bit of room, but not enough, as an official gets whacked. No score early in the ball game. Eskimos have the ball a second time coming up.
Watching the America's Cup was a thrill, but there's no bigger joy than just getting on a boat with some friends and setting sail. If you want to find out what the pure freedom of sailing feels like, but you don't want to look bad while you're learning, at last there's an answer for you. Because now you can learn to sail in your own living room. with this new instructional video called Michelob Sailing. It covers everything you need to know to look alive on deck. You'll learn all the important sailing lingo, stopping the boat dockside, proper posture on deck, choosing course direction and how to stay on course, how to read the wind and how to tack, how to trim sails. You'll learn the rules for safe sailing and much more. And at only $14.95, Michelob Sailing makes the perfect Christmas gift for you or for that budding sailor you know. Michelob Sailing. Call 1-800-972-5858 to order your copy now and make sailing a breeze.
I hope his tailor's a little bit more accurate than his hat maker.
First down, Eskimos from their 15-yard line. Dunnigan waits, throws it in desperation at the feet of Milson Jones. So the BC rush, which has been in evidence all season long and now has James Quick Parker in it, is strong early in this game.
Well, he certainly does add a dimension. If that leg is healthy, and then we don't know, it's only been one series, working on Trevor Bowles. Bowles does an excellent job at keeping his body in front of him. All you have to do is really try to mirror James Parker. He's so quick and so strong. If he can get upfield on you, that's when he can give you an awful lot of trouble.
He has reached Matt Dunnigan twice in this game. Dunnigan is outside and throwing very deep. And the ball is incomplete. Turning and looking for it was Jones. He turned both ways and came close, but the coverage was good.
Coverage was good. Not only did he turn both ways, but a tough adjustment into the sun with the stadium over the sun over the stadium. He has to look back into that sun.
Joe Farragalli said he wanted to establish the fact that the Eskimos would go deep with the pass. He has thrown 2 long passes so far, both incomplete, and I guess the way to establish it is not only to throw it, but to complete one. No big return for Larry Crawford this time. He did get out of bounds, and of course he wasn't very far from it. The Canada Lease MVP will be selected following this game. Last week, perhaps the most obvious choice of the season was Freddie Sims, who totaled more than 200 yards rushing and receiving as the Lions beat the Calgary Stampeders 32-12.
Now look for that performance again from Freddie Sims with the help of his running mate Ray Krause, who really does a good job working in the backfield, helping Sims out on formations.
Lions from Edmonton's 46, 1st and 10. Slow-moving play, and Sims is met at the line of scrimmage. Shoved backwards by Stuart Hill.
Well, Sims has to stop a little bit in the backfield there. He sees Danny Bass. The pressure comes from the outside, but when everyone does their job up front like that and taking a man on, knocking him to the ground, the linebackers can move more freely. Then they can all join in on the tackle.
We'll give Freddie Sims a yard to the 45. It is 2nd down 9, BC. Walt is under a rush, and he goes down. And there's Stu Hill, the big sack man for the Eskimos, and John Mandrich has joined him.
Well, that could be John Mandrich's first sack, or they might give him a half sack. That pressure from up the middle. Joe Farragalli has been stressing it. You see him in the center of your screen. Nice move to get by Ian Sinclair. Just bulls his way. Doesn't give Roy DeWalt a lane to step up and throw the football.
Looked like a full sack to me for Mandrich. He did it all, and as a result, the Lions are punting almost back at midfield. Low snap to Pasaglia. Big rush. Williams with some room. They would not let him outside, and Henry Williams had nowhere to go when he turned it upfield.
Well, he wasn't able to generate that turbo power in that last punt return, but it's a long game, and Larry Donovan knows there's no one anywhere that seems to explode into full speed better than that man, number 2, Henry the Gizmo Williams.
Well, it's a battle of defenses so far. Dunnigan completes one. Short gain on the first completed pass to Chris Skinner.
Throwing to the short side of the field. Interesting strategy when you can get your linebackers moving. you might as well work the short side of the field. Milson Jones takes a slide left, trying to hold just a small fake. That's all you need. That allows Chris Skinner to get out into the flat. Halfback Mel Bird has to come up and make the play.
Second and 4 Eskimos from their 29. They run the ball and get the first down to the 40-yard line with Milson Jones.
Good job of picking your way. The running game should be as important to the Eskimos. Watch Milson Jones. Hits up into the left, and now he'll slide back. Trevor Bowles, Leo Blanchard, and Rod Conop from the right side of that line just folded down the defensive front, allowed him to make a nice cutback. You got to keep your eyes open. You keep getting holes like that.
They cut back underneath James Parker, and that was the big hole. Dunnigan on the run looking for a block as he's going to keep running, and he doesn't go anywhere. Strong move by Andre Francis to cut Matt Dunnigan down.
That's a tough play for the defensive secondary. Dunnigan is almost tight-roping along the line of scrimmage. They don't know whether to leave their receiver. You got guys like Brian Kelly, Stefan Jones on the field. You can't afford to let them go downfield because they make big plays. Laterally moving well, always looking down the field, makes a decision. Francis makes a good defensive play.
Second and 6 Eskimos from their 44. Draw play. Another first down along the ground and a big gain by Chris Skinner.
Well, it's plays like that will tame a pass rush. They brought their linebackers and their front four. Chris Skinner is able to take the handoff, wait a second, and then explode right up the middle. Bill Stevenson, big block right there, right in the face of the safety. Not only can he get it off and make the play, he can't even see the running back.
From the Lions 45, out of the backfield, Skinner, a big man in this drive for Edmonton.
Oh, Chris Skinner is responding well. This week there was some concern whether he had his head in the game of football the last few weeks, more so in his blocking. It's one of the reasons they dressed Blake Marshall and are thinking of using him in the backfield because of his ability and his eagerness. Skinner has responded, and he's certainly tearing up the defense now.
Stevenson, Pache on the left side of that line. Veterans up there, and obviously they're big. One look tells you that. Rod Conn at the center, Blanchard and Bowles on the other side. Eskimos are first down and 10 from the Lions' 30-yard line. No score, first quarter. Dunnigan had a lot of time, and given time, and he'll find a receiver, Stephen Jones that time. Out at the 17-yard line, another Edmonton first down.
Well, Joe Farragilli will be happy the way Matt Dunnigan is taking charge of this drive because he's changing the play on the line of scrimmage. He's looking to Stephan Jones, and Jones, you'll see, come around in the zone, peel around behind the defensive backs, come back to the quarterback, make an easy catch, and get bumped out of bounds. That type of execution, you'll get some points out of drives.
Eskimos have been running and passing down the field. Dunnigan throws out in the flat. Another completed pass. Rickhouse isn't going very far, and Nelson Martin sees to that.
Once again, a great read by Matt Dunnigan. They haven't played in a number of weeks, and even though they haven't been on the field together, that doesn't mean they haven't been studying the defenses of other teams game in and game out. As he's checking that list on his wrist of plays to call under different situations, right now 2nd and 6, they'll be categorized, and I'm sure he'll pull one of them out.
From the Lions' 13-yard line. Dunnigan fires off the line and is complete for the touchdown.
When you blitz, you become vulnerable. Good read by Dunnigan and Chris Skinner. Skinner knows that halfback and linebacker are gone. He releases upfield, gets inside safety. Nelson Martin, easy pass from Dunnigan. He just drags him in the end zone.
Skinner ran and caught passes and did it all in that drive. Cowrick for the extra point to put the Eskimos up by 7. Eskimos break the scoreless tie on the Chris Skinner touchdown. Edmonton 7 and BC nothing.
Why is this man being so unfair to his wife? Enjoying his cold relief while she suffers, feeling no desire to sneeze while she stifles hers, without all the coughs and the runny nose that torture her night, resting in the same bed where she tosses and turns. Why? Because while she took a cold tablet, he took NyQuil. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head fever so you can rest medicine. Now a new cherry flavor, too.
If you're up against the old boy network, subscribe to the Wall Street Journal. You'll find that to achieve success, you don't have to be old. And you don't even have to be a boy.
Call 800-372-3000 for this special introductory offer. 13 weeks for just $29.75 with a money-back guarantee. 13 weeks, $29.75. Phone 800-372-3000 now for the Wall Street Journal.
Why do you invest with Charles Schwab, America's largest discount broker?
The service is very good at Schwab, and my commission savings over several years have been substantial, very substantial.
When I invest with Schwab, I'm only paying half the commissions, half the going rate.
Schwab saves me time. Schwab saves me money, quite a bit of money.
Well, I just opened my Schwab account this week, bought 100 shares of stock, and I saved $49. Not bad, huh?
I like knowing I can call Schwab 24 hours a day. Nobody tries to sell me anything. I get very good service.
I invite you to find out more about Schwab today. We drive down commission costs for the independent investor, and we do it with a level of service that you'll really appreciate.
For your free Schwab booklet, call toll-free 800-227-3500. That's 800-227-3500. Call Schwab now.
The place to be Friday is ESPN. The magic year of 1948 boasts Heisman Trophy winner Doak Walker as the king of the Southwest Conference. Next, the 1984 Cowboys' silver anniversary was their 19th straight winning season. Then middleweight Doug DeWitt and super middleweight Glenn LaPaglia are just two of the great boxers scheduled on Budweiser's Top Rank Boxing. Finish the night with Breeders' Crown Championship harness racing. Friday night means total sports on ESPN.
We thank the Eskimos and the people who play the big board at Commonwealth Stadium. Eskimos ended the first quarter on a high note, completing the pass to Stephen Jones for 43 yards. Puts the Eskimos with a first down at the 29. A fake a reverse. Dunnigan still got it. With one block, he could have run. He chose to throw the ball, and he completes it. First catch of the day for Brian Kelly.
Well, after watching that play, it makes me think we're going to see not only a reverse, but potentially a reverse pass to Stephen Jones because he used to be a quarterback. Good fake by Matt Dunnigan. Heads turn, follows the guy he's faking to, now comes out, he's ready to throw the football. Good execution.
Glenn Jackson made Dunnigan throw. I think Matt might have thought about running if he could have had somebody in front of Jackson who would not allow it. It is another quick pass, stand up and throw. Right off the snap by Dunnigan, but that one was incomplete.
Same play they scored on down at the other end of the field. Running back goes in motion. You really don't lose anything in a situation like that. A lot of people feel you've got to keep your backs in if teams are going to blitz. Well, heck, let them run out in the secondary and catch the ball. No one's going to cover.
Second and 10 Eskimos from the BC 17. As he tried to step up, in the pocket. And it amounts to a sack, even though maybe he just got his feet tangled more than anything else.
I think that's exactly what happened, and he's upset about it because he realized that lane opened up. Trevor Bowles, a good job of pushing James Parker by the pack. That middle opened up just for a second.
So an opportunity for Cowrick to restore the 7-point lead. They'll try it from 29 yards out. It is good, and the Eskimos once again lead by a converted touchdown. It is Edmonton 10 and the Lions 3.
There's one game where every move is brilliant and each piece a winner. All stunning diamond jewelry, classically simple, eternally elegant designs created to showcase diamonds of the finest quality. The Checkmate Collection, to shatter all her defenses.
Hi, I'm Warren Mazzoni. And I'm Michael Mazzoni. Checkmate Collection is one of the most exciting concepts in simple, elegant diamond jewelry design that we've ever seen. Come see our Checkmate Collection for yourself, now at Oren Jewelers in Garden City, Northville, and Brighton.
Thanksgiving night, only on pay-per-view, witness the Survivor Series.
On Thanksgiving night, the WWF is having their first Survivor Series. Andre the Giant, your team versus mine. One by one, they'll be eliminated until it's just you and me together.
Witness the Survivor Series, a special live pay-per-view event from the World Wrestling Federation on November 26th, Thanksgiving night.
Due to time constraints, we must move ahead in our CFL coverage. We rejoin the game at the beginning of the second quarter. Both teams have traded field goals, and the score is now Edmonton 10, British Columbia 3.
Well, Louis Pasaglia missed one earlier. Now Jerry Cowrick does. It bothers you more, I think, to be wide than to be short. He had the distance and wasn't very far wide, but it goes for just 1 point. DeWalt throws a pass. It is incomplete. Carinci, the intended receiver, and DeWalt sees what happened from his back.
DeWalt changing things up on the Lion offense, moving out, half sprinting, not really threatening the outside like you might see a Matt Dunnigan roll out and really run hard to the outside, but just trying to move the pocket around a bit. As we see in the fourth quarter, the Argonauts still hold on to a slim lead, 23-21.
Second down and 10. They fake the draw. Buys DeWalt some time. He throws it deep. There's Williams. And the ball is knocked down on a great defensive play by Stanley Blair. They tried Byron K. Williams that time, and he was there, but so was Stanley Blair.
Well, Stanley Blair played that about as well as you can out in the corner. One-on-one coverage. He sits back. He's running to the outside. Sees when the ball's thrown, and now makes a great adjustment. As soon as the ball comes in, I'm sure Williams thought he had it in his arms, and he was on the way to the end zone. Good quickness by Stanley Blair to close on that ball.
He might have intercepted, but might be just as happy that he didn't unless Pasaglia booms a punt. The Eskimos will probably get better field position this way. It's hardly a boomer. It's going to go out of bounds at about the 51-yard line of the Eskimos. First down, Edmonton right there, and Williams doesn't get a chance to handle the ball, and even though it's a short punt and Edmonton is in good shape, Williams is not happy when he doesn't get a chance to run the kickback.
And he'll tell somebody on the sidelines too.
Well, he took a swing at the kicker's net as he walked by it. First down from the 51. Dunnigan out in the flat to Milson Jones, one-on-one, and he can't beat his man. Kevin Konar out there.
Well, man-on-man is exactly what they were. Nelson Martin, the free safety, is going to blitz. See him come up. Blake Marshall, 22. Boom. Straightens him right up. Gives Dunnigan some time to throw the football. Good coverage by Konar on the flat on Wilson Jones.
The game took the ball to BC's side of the field at the 54-yard line. We'll keep watching that score from Winnipeg for you. That would be considered an upset, I think, if the Argos won in Winnipeg. Although everybody has had great respect for the way the Argo team has come on this season, and I don't think it was considered a cinch that Winnipeg would finish first. It's still up in the air if the Argos win that game today.
It certainly is. You're right. Bob Ovilovich has done a great job. And there's a look at Peter Vandenbos's right arm sitting on some ice. It's a contusion. Not exactly sure what the problem is, but it doesn't look like he'll be in too much of a hurry to get back in. Blake Marshall broke his mask. You know, there's some contact going on out there when you snap one of those bolts in the helmet.
5-yard gain to Milson Jones. He gets it again, trying for the first down. He is continuing to run hard, but is going to be a yard short.
Milson Jones with the ball, brought down by Kevin Conard. Ben Jackson also in on the tackle.
Well, I think that's just keeping those shoulders and arm warmed up. There's nothing else much to do. If he has to go in, you better make sure you're warm. I know it's a beautiful day here at Edmonton. It's still kind of nippy if you have to stand around.
Eskimos have some beef in for third down in the yard. They will go for it. 3 backs. Jones gets the ball and the first down.
It was interesting in practice yesterday. The BC Lions going through their special teams. The chant was, "We don't want to come back." They feel they have to beat this team. The Edmonton Eskimos get first place. You see Elmer put Milson Jones down only after he's got the first down. But they don't want to come back here in late November and play in the cold weather.
Dunnigan is hit from behind, and down he goes as the toaster got to him.
Williams comes into the game with 8 sacks. That'll be his 9th. And this is one time Matt Dunnigan didn't feel the pressure from behind. Glenn Jackson trying to get the pressure up the middle. But that's tough to get away from that.
That's a 5. It'll be 2nd and 15. Edmonton ball on the BC 52.
Back at the Edmonton 52-yard line. 2nd down, 15. Down the middle. Rick House is there near the 25. First down, Edmonton.
When you start to sprint out, a defense will make adjustments and try to and work hard to get to the outside. That's when you come back and you run a semi-roll. Dunnigan will set up behind his tackle, though it looks like it's going to be a sprint. The running backs will block everyone to the outside. The middle opens up, and he throws a strike to Rick House.
House ruled down at the 26 of the Lions. First down, Edmonton from that point. Draw play. Chris Johnstone is in the game, and a short gain for him.
James Parker works the outside. He has to move and find himself a gap. Still in that 2-point stance, he comes in on Bowles. Try to keep your hands on him. You can control James Parker, you can keep him away from the football, but it's not as easy as that looked.
2nd and 9. Dunnigan rolling, stopping. Again over the middle, and this one is incomplete.
Dunnigan's pass to Rick House, incomplete.
Again, Rick House was the intended receiver, and Carrick will come on. Try and add to the Edmonton lead. A successful field goal here would make it an 8-point margin. Dunnigan will hold it at the 32. Carrick is good, and it is now Edmonton 14, and the BC Lions 6. Each team has 2 field goals.
Why is this man being so unfair to his wife? Enjoying his cold relief while she suffers, feeling no desire to sneeze while she stifles hers, without all the coughs and the runny nose that torture her night, resting in the same bed where she tosses and turns. Why? Because while she took a cold tablet, he took NyQuil. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head fever so you can rest medicine. Now a new cherry flavor, too.
Hi. I am looking for presents for my husband and my son, and I have seen shirts, ties, books, records. But you know, they love sports, so I thought maybe you had something here.
What's their favorite sport?
Baseball, I guess. Or maybe it's football. You know, come to think of it, they love basketball, boxing, hockey, tennis. They're real big sports fans.
There is a perfect present for guys like that, but I can't sell it to you.
Well, why not?
It's Sports Illustrated.
Sports Illustrated.
America's #1 sports magazine. It gives them 55 weeks of great sports coverage, including the Year in Sports, the baseball preview, the football spectacular, the basketball preview, and the annual swimsuit issue.
Yeah, I know they'll like that.
This year, they'll also get one of Sports Illustrated's biggest issues ever, the '88 Olympic Preview Edition, with an exclusive look at all the major events, like hockey, skating, skiing. No one covers the Olympics like Sports Illustrated.
They'll really like that.
And you'll like getting Sports Illustrated at the Christmas sale price, over 60% off the cover price.
A sale before Christmas?
And no crowded stores, because you don't go shopping for SI, you just call.
No shopping, no crowds? Very nice.
Just call their toll-free Christmas hotline for 55 issues of Sports Illustrated at the Christmas sale price. 3 monthly payments of $15.99 each. You won't even be billed till next year.
Well, it sounds like the perfect present for any man. On sale, no shopping, no catch?
You get 55 issues of Sports Illustrated at the Christmas sale price, including all the preview issues, the swimsuit issue, and the '88 Olympic Preview Edition. And even a card for under the tree. Just by calling toll-free 1-800-541-8400.
I'm sold. Where's the phone?
Over there.
What's that number?
1-800-541-8400.
I know what I'm getting my boyfriend.
And my dad.
Terrific idea. Great idea.
Each field goal kicker is 2 for 3 today. The big difference is that the Eskimos also have a touchdown to lead 14-6. Eskimos would like to do a better job defending against the kick returns, which have been good for BC. This is Mel Bird. And another pretty good one as he gets out to the 40-yard line.
Well, we saw Conrad Holloway on the sidelines, and during the kickoff, the chin strap was buckled, the gloves are on. He's ready to go.
You'd never have seen this with Don Matthews as the BC coach. He just didn't believe in changing quarterbacks early in the game, and a game that's pretty close with an 8-point difference, but Larry Donovan thinks differently. And Conrad Holloway comes in. Roy DeWalt has not been able to move the Lions consistently. Holloway, pretty good call on first down.
Holloway's pass is complete to
There is a penalty flag.
There is a flag.
Legal procedure, BC, no end.
Legal procedure is the call against the Lions.
At halftime, a profile of Dan Bass. I'm not sure whether we'll be able to profile what Dan and Neil got when they hunted, but maybe you could tell us, Neil, so we don't have to wait.
Not a chance.
Not a chance you got anything?
No, it was, we had a no-hitter that day, not like what Danny Bass is having today. He made more hits today so far.
After the penalty, Holloway pumps his arm, and the ball is loose. They will give it to Edmonton. Holloway will try to say that he was throwing. But it is ruled a fumble.
Well, I saw his arm come forward in the throwing motion, but if the ball was knocked out before the arm starts to come through, you have to wonder, the gloves he has on, is that a problem? There's the pump. That ball just comes out of his hands. That's a quick pump fake to get the receiver, or to get the defensive back to bite on a receiver. He's ready to go downtown with it. That ball just drops out.
Dunnigan throws it deep over the head of Jones, who knows where it is and can't get to it. Andre Francis didn't know where the ball was.
Stuart Hill, the man around the quarterback, probably just ready to hammer Holloway when he threw it, or was trying to throw it, came up with the loose ball. I can't help but think, see Holloway talking with Steve Barato, that he's going to take the glove from the right hand off.
Eskimos trying to take full advantage of this turnover, the first one of the game. Second and 10 from the 26. Dunnigan throws a quick one. Good moves by House, but he's got about 5 men to beat. Ducks inside the 20-yard line, but that's all, and it'll be a chance for 3. When we come back, Jerry Cowher for his 3rd field goal of the day.
Intro. Mike Adre, king of sports, with a great gift item of officially licensed Elgin NFL travel alarms. Small, lightweight, perfect for travel, with NFL team logos like the Detroit Lions, the Green Bay Packers, the Washington Redskins, and Miami Dolphins. Only $4.99 each for these or many other NFL teams like Dallas, Denver, or Minnesota. Get your NFL travel alarm today at Adre Appliance Photo and Sound Center, Dearborn, Outer Drive at Carlisle.
Hello and welcome to Jalapeno Pete's. Today we'll prove how just one bite at Jalapeno Pete's will make even the saddest person happy. Let's take a look. Our waitress is serving... Yes, it's one of our famous wet burritos. He's got his fork. He's taking a bite. And yes, he's smiling. Let's see that again. Just look at that happy face. That's Jalapeno Pete's across from the Westland Mall near Hudson's. Bet you can't find us.
Read Dianetics, the #1 self-improvement bestseller by L. Ron Hubbard. Buy your copy now at Walden Books.
Friday, the USBA middleweight title is on the line. Doug DeWitt battles undefeated Tony Thornton when Budweiser presents Top Rank Boxing, live Friday at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN.
Jerry Carrick is 2 for 3. The last one was from 32 yards. It made it 14-6. Now it's a 27-yard attempt for a 17-6 Edmonton lead. That's exactly the score as Carrick makes his 3rd field goal of the day. And the Eskimos go up by 11 points.
Carrick's been a very consistent place kicker since coming to the Eskimos, replacing Tom Dixon. What a lot of people don't realize is when he did come into camp, he was not a punter. They've turned him into a punter, and Don Southern, who works with the kickers and has ever since he's been a coach here, has worked hard with Jerry Cowher, trying to improve the length on the punts, keeping him consistent kicking the field goals. And he's improving every game, according to Don Southern.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what BC does when it gets the ball back. 1, who'll come in at quarterback, and 2, will the Lions attempt to establish the running game, which they did early and have really gone away from since. Larry Donovan believes in it strongly, and you'd think that he would give Freddie Sims more of a chance to do what he did last week than we've seen here today.
They have stepped away from the game plan, I think, a little bit sooner than they had wanted to. You never want to get away from your game plan, but a lot of people don't understand there's a big difference when quarterbacks change during a game. Every quarterback has a style and a rhythm. That can throw off an offense.
Carrick booting it along the ground this time. Gets to Crawford pretty quickly. He's trying for the outside, and again, there's lots of room for Larry Crawford as he goes down at about the 37-yard line.
Larry Crawford returning the kickoff. He was brought down by Mark Norman. There's a flag.
There was a penalty flag on the kickoff return.
Edmonton, number 23, tripping, 10-yard penalty.
An interesting call. Mark Norman, one of the backup defensive backs from UBC, a native of Edinburgh, Scotland, called for tripping.
It'll be 1st and 10, BC, the ball on their own 46.
Matt Dunnigan on the phone with offensive coordinator up in the booth, Steve Goldman.
Well, the penalty makes the return look better. Lions at the 46-yard line with Holloway at quarterback. Flags come down as there was a lot of confusion along the line. First of all, let's look at the previous penalty to Mark Norman.
You wonder how you have to get, or what you have to do to get called for tripping. We're going to find out. Right there, an old dance move.
Against the Lions, waved by the Eskimos.
In hockey, that's 2 minutes. Here it's 10 yards, and the Lions, with Holloway at quarterback, having a little bit of trouble. They've had 2 procedure calls on them since he's been in there. Holloway back, throws it deep. Williams in a foot race. Beat the Eskimo defender, but couldn't beat the football.
That might have been the play that they'd wanted to try to execute earlier when the ball dropped out of his hands. Holloway gets a clean snap. Everything goes the way it's supposed to. No one offside or no one caught holding. He airs it out. Now it's just have to wait.
Well, he knew the man was there, and he couldn't get him the ball. Holloway perhaps trying to surprise the Eskimos with that long pass. There's a feeling that he doesn't throw that ball nearly as well as Roy DeWalt, but he had lots of strength there. Saglia's punt to the sidelines. Eskimos pick it up, and there is no flag. With 2:06 to go in the first half, Edmonton leading 17-6. No thought of changing Edmonton quarterbacks. Dunnigan stays in.
No, I think when it comes down to it, Matt Dunnigan is probably the heart and soul of this football team when it comes to running the offense. Had a tough week. He had a bout with the flu, and a couple old injuries started to become a little bit naggy earlier on, but he's, according to Ken Lowe, the trainer, he's bounced back. He was ready to go today.
Eskimos from their 41. Lions show blitz, come with a blitz. Dunnigan throws over it, but way too far.
Well, Dunnigan puts the ball downfield. No, there wasn't a receiver close by. Sincar was trying to get up in the zone. The reason he's trying to go there, and I think Faragelli understands why he wants to go there, is Nelson Martin, the safety, had blitzed. That was wide open. So if they could have gotten a receiver down there, that could have been a big play.
Well, there were 2 receivers in the area, but Dunnigan made it impossible for either one to get close to the ball. So it's 2nd and 10, Edmonton from the 41. Lions jumping around, flag comes down. Dunnigan throws another deep pass. Nelson Martin bumping hard into Brian Kelly, and the fans yell, but the ball had gone past everybody, and I don't think there's anything illegal about what Martin did.
No, I don't think so either. You see a little bumping downfield, but the best way to release down, get away from the defensive back, just actually not a great hit, but enough to throw Brian Kelly off as he's going downfield. He's free game. That ball's over his head. You might as well take a shot at him.
Not that far over his head, though. It was a little closer than I thought the first time, but Kelly bounces up, and it's 2nd down back at the 46-yard line.
Well, the talk in Edmonton started about Wednesday of the Eskimos complaining how physical, how much the defensive secondaries, more specifically Gooch and Francis, hold the wide receivers.
Wilson Jones looking for the first down. He is close. He appears to have it.
A little flare pass out of the backfield. Running backs of the Eskimos, doesn't matter who you seem to have in there right now, the tandem of Blake Marshall at fullback and Wilson Jones, they can all do a lot of good things when they get the football.
Given their choice, the Eskimos would hold the ball for the remaining time in this first half, 1.5 minutes approximately, and end the half with a score, preferably a touchdown, but I don't think they'd sneeze at a field goal either. Dunnigan on the run. Lots of room. And he fumbles the football after taking the hit. Sometimes it's not the wisest thing to do to invite that wallop, but Dunnigan got a couple of yards for it, and they did recover his fumble.
Well, you won't see Matt Dunnigan take off and run that much. In 1984, he was almost 700 yards and led the Eskimos in rushing. In the last 2 years, he's a lot more settled down as a quarterback and will only run if he has to, but you can see he's lost absolutely nothing, putting a nice little shift on Kevin Konar. Gets down the field and is not afraid of some contact. maybe a little more stick-em on that forearm, but
he was fortunate 2 teammates were there to help with the fumble recovery after a 33-yard run by Matt Dunnigan. That's what he has done running the ball himself this season.
Well, coaches stress it is so important that, especially to the offensive linemen, the receivers that aren't in the pattern or around the football, to go to where the football's going. You just never know when it's going to pop out. And you want to maintain possession. No one's past fumbling the football. It's part of the game. So you just want to limit the turnovers. You see Milson Jones receiving attention. Athletic therapist Ken Lowe on the left there.
Eskimos, of course, have plenty of depth at the running back position. Chris Johnstone and Blake Marshall are 2 non-starters who can go in there and play well. Well, Dunnigan's run has put the Eskimos into field goal position at worst, with 1:21 remaining in the first half. And a field goal would give them a 14-point halftime lead. A touchdown is the first thought of Matt Dunnigan and his offensive teammates. Chris Skinner tried to hold up and come back to the ball and couldn't do either.
Here you see the Gizmo Williams in the game. It's a wide receiver, maybe trying to threaten and scare the secondary a little bit. Comes right back out. You can bet Dunnigan, Joe Farraghelli, Steve Goldman, the people involved with the offense, will tell Matt to go to the end zone, but don't do anything foolish. We can't afford a turnover. Let's get some points out of this drive. Let's be patient.
Well, 3 would look good here. 2nd down and 10 from the 25. Dunnigan is throwing a deep man open, and it is just out of the reach of Stephen Jones, who was wide open. There's a flag down back at the line of scrimmage.
67 Edmonton.
And so it wouldn't have counted anyway. But Stephen Jones was in the clear, and that wind seemed to take the ball and carry it past him.
It really did. It hung in the air just a little bit longer. You expected it to just, the spiral to turn over, drop down, but it started to flutter a bit, just stayed up there.
The Lions have declined the penalty, which might show some respect for the striking power of the Eskimo offense. 10-yard penalty would make the field goal a lot tougher. But they're going to give Carrick a chance to kick a 32-yarder. And he missed it. So the Lions' decision proves even wiser, as Carrick cannot kick the 3-pointer. He has been wide on 2 today from 45, and that one should have been made from 32 yards. So it is 18-6 Edmonton.
Former Eskimo president Walter Sprague is celebrating his 82nd.
Well, the discussion between Larry Donovan and Steve Brattle, what to try to do with 53 seconds on the clock. They certainly don't want to get in a situation where they have to give the ball back to the Eskimos.
53 seconds left. Lions with the ball at the 35. Holloway is in again, and he throws an incompletion. Intending it for Sandusky. Why not pick it up just in case, but that was obviously a forward pass.
Look at Stephen Jones with a strained neck. The helmet's off.
Get your energy recharge.
Yeah, I got to make that play.
Holloway cannot move the Lions in this last minute. I would think we'd see Roy DeWalt start the 3rd quarter, unless there is something wrong with the BC starter. Holloway has not been effective. The Lions they don't seem to be in sync with Holloway in there. Now, a couple of weeks ago when he joined the active roster, he told us he wasn't familiar at all with the full offensive package. He's had time since to get that down, but it doesn't seem to be working.
Well, he can bring an awful lot of good things to a football team, but you're right. He seems to be definitely out of sync, or the coordination between the offense and the way he's calling and running things is certainly not in place.
Saglia to punt, 45 seconds remaining. Punt hangs nice and high. Williams Gets to the sidelines, doesn't have much room there, gets out of bounds, which isn't a bad thing to do to stop the clock. 35 seconds left, 55 yards away from the goal line. The Eskimos will have another crack at it.
You like looking at him as the head's looking back at the replay scoreboard up in the other end of the stadium. He's trying to figure out why he couldn't break that one either.
He gives you the impression that he thinks these people paid money to see him, and the rest of the stuff is...
no doubt about it.
This is incidental.
Return will be first and 10 after the ball on the 55.
First down, Eskimos, midfield. They lead by 12. Half a minute to go to try to get more. That pass is up for grabs after it was tipped.
For Rick House. Knocked down by John.
On the backfield with Matt Dunnigan, Milson Jones is out with a burner in his neck. Chris Johnstone and Chris Skinner sprinting out to the left side. Skinner blocking Jackson. But Jackson is able to get Skinner going upfield with the momentum, grabs the shoulders, and then comes back underneath, gets pressure on Dunnigan.
John Ulmer's height at that middle linebacker position enabled him to knock the ball away. Second down, Dunnigan to the sidelines, and it is no good.
Well, they wanted to get a first down out of this. It's interesting with the time, that 53 seconds when the Lions last had possession, they wanted to run the clock out. Now I'm sure that the Eskimos figured they could have run the last few seconds with 26 left now. They've got to turn the ball back over. Larry Crawford is deep. They will have 11 man coming.
Tarek awaits the snap. Snap is good. The punt is nice and high. Crawford is going to take it at his 3-yard line. No chance of a point for Edmonton, and no chance of a big return by Crawford. 16 seconds left. The Eskimos down quickly under Larry Crawford. Tarek all excited about something.
A little tap on the shoulders. Boy, some kickers are pretty chippy, aren't they? Look at Danny Kearns. One of the important cogs along that defensive line. They continue to rotate those 5. Tune, Mandrich, Zachary, and Hill, and Dan Kearns goes in every quarter and spells one of them.
Lions are indicating that they will snap the ball 2 or 3 times, whatever it takes to get this first half over. They hand the ball to Sims, trying to get some yards if they're there, but Freddie Sims is taken down. He hasn't been a force in this game like he was last week against Calgary, though we should say that the Lions really started to roll along the ground in the second half against the Stampeders. They were trailing, in fact, 6-5 in the first half.
Well, not only is he, I think the Eskimos have called a timeout, he's not getting the ball handed to him. They're not using him coming out of the backfield into the flat areas, over the middle, dragging patterns that were so successful against the Stampeders. Have him delay a second in the backfield, then go back out. We haven't seen much of that today either.
We've just been informed that the Winnipeg Blue Bombers have clinched first place in the East with a 1-point victory over the Toronto Argonauts, 24-23 for Winnipeg. So Trevor Kennard must have kicked a field goal late in the game. And the Bombers are celebrating a first-place finish and home field in the Eastern Final. Sims again puts his head down and runs into Larry Ruck. And in the other game, it was also a 1-point decision for Calgary, beating Hamilton 34-33. Stampeders finished 3rd in the West, and the Tiger Cats 3rd in the East.
You never count out Tom Clements, can you? That guy's amazing. Danny Bass receiving some attention from the Eskimo training staff. Running play by Freddie Sims over the left side of the BC Lion offensive line. It's tough when you're playing linebacker. Your knees are so vulnerable. You slide. See him in the middle of your screen. Tim Burnham's trying to get blocked and push them to the outside. Seems pretty simple right to there. And then he just buckles down.
clock is running. The timeout had been taken a play earlier, so the Lions won't have to do anything on third down, but take a snap and protect the ball. Holloway will do that, and the first half will come to a conclusion with the Lions down by 12 points. That is the end of the first half at Commonwealth Stadium, Edmonton. The Eskimos 18 and the BC Lions 6. Stay with us for halftime in a moment.
Whenever I see a scene like this, I wonder, did they have a will? As a court reporter, I know if you die without a will, the courts take over and make important decisions for you. Who gets your money, your property? Who gives away your life savings? Who will be your children's guardian? With no will, the courts decide everything, and your estate pays. Plus, if the state can't find any heirs, they keep your property. Don't worry. The nationwide will plan has developed wills that are legal in all states and can be completed by you in just minutes by following very easy instructions. Call now. Only nationwide wills offer you these special features: forms for gifts, provisions for distribution of personal items, forms for children's trusts, and your cost for the will plans is only $9.95. Call this number now and also receive this handsome folder for your legal documents. Don't let a stranger make the most important decisions of your life. Call now.
How far do your kids have to go when they need information in a hurry?
I better get to the library before it closes.
If he only had the new Encyclopedia Britannica at home, he wouldn't have to go through all this. He could be learning right now about science, art, medicine. A 2-volume index makes subjects easy to find, and thousands of illustrations bring them to life. The new Encyclopedia Britannica. It's your key to the information age. But they can't use it if they can't get to it. Call this toll-free number for a free booklet on Britannica. Plus, receive your first copy of Britannica World Data Annual. It's free from Britannica Home Library Service when you acquire Britannica. Preview Britannica and receive free this 3-volume desk reference set.
Call 1-800-554-9000 for your free booklet and details on how you can receive your desk reference set. Encyclopedia Britannica, the library that never closes.
Once again, we must move ahead in our coverage. We now join you in the third quarter. British Columbia scored on a turnover, and Edmonton has a 1-point attempt. The score is now Edmonton 19, BC 13.
Very costly indeed as Milson Jones fumble. Todd Wiseman's steal of the ball, call it what you will, gives the Lions a touchdown and puts them right back in the game, trailing by 6. Jones gives to Richards, gives to Williams. Lions are not fooled, not one bit as a flag comes down. Gizmo's still on his feet, now is out of bounds. But I don't think the Lions, when they saw that razzle-dazzle going on, thought anything other than the fact that the ball would wind up in the Gizmo's arms.
He's out of bounds on the 39-yard line.
As we said, they'll do anything they possibly can to get it in the Gizmo's hands. I think Blake Marshall might have been called for blocking from behind on Nelson Martin.
So how quickly a game can turn. The Eskimos were leading rather comfortably by 13 points.
Jones hits up in there. Good body lean. Everything's going forward. The whistle could have gone there, I suppose. But Jones was not on the ground.
Question is, and only he can answer it, did he ease up in terms of holding onto the ball, thinking that the play was dead? Or was he trying as hard as Wiseman was to clutch the football, and did Todd Wiseman not need any help to do what he did?
Well, it's a heads-up play by Wiseman. You know, if somebody's making the tackle, try to pull the ball out. We're going to look at that double reverse. It's going to go to Stephan Jones. He's going to come over and give it to Tom Richards, who in turn will give it to Henry Williams. See everyone going all over the place? There's the block. There's the clip right there. Blake Marshall.
And Andre Francis fought off Marco Sincar nicely to stay with the play. Now, had Richards kept the ball and Williams gone the other way, who knows where Tom Richards might have gone with it. The Lions actually had the whole field covered very well. Penalty hurts Edmonton back to the 15. Dunnigan throws. Good catch by Skinner. Kevin Konar on top of him.
Well, that play is designed primarily to the wide side of the field to stretch that half of the field. Skinner goes to a flat, and in turn a receiver goes deep. Another one curls around inside. They run it either against a man situation or a zone and can be successful.
Ball at the Eskimo 26. First down. There's Matt Dunnigan's passing yardage today, over 200. Dunnigan throwing on the run for Kelly, and it is no good. Kelly complaining about some interference, but no call is made.
Well, Brian Kelly, the last time they played the BC Lions, didn't have a big game. As a matter of fact, might have only caught one pass. He comes off cleanly, works to the inside to turn Francis around, but that shove right there, that's what Kelly will complain about. Not supposed to touch me downfield.
He maintained his stride, but lost a step probably going to the ball. That ball is loose, and who's got it? The Lions indicate they do, and so does referee Ken Lazaruk. It is a fumble recovery for BC, and suddenly turnovers are killing Edmonton.
Well, it's one thing to turn the ball over and get it back, as Matt Dunnigan did in the latter part of the second quarter. But this is a patience play. Milson Jones on the left. You see him rolling, going towards the line of scrimmage before Dunnigan gets a chance to slide the ball in there. Because of that, they're not coordinated properly for the play. The ball pops out.
At the Edmonton 30-yard line, the Lions with a touchdown could take the lead. And here comes the running game again. And it was suddenly easier to run simply because they feel more confident with the way the game has gone, and the Eskimos are back on their heels a bit. So let's see if Freddie Sims gets into this game. He gained only 19 first-half yardage.
Well, that's what the coach looks for as far as Larry Donovan on that running play. Gets 7 or 8 yards. They're in the driver's seat for this play.
He gained 2 to the 22. Kraus this time, and the Eskimos come up with another big play on run defense. Stuart Hill stuffing it, but Pasaglia will come on and try for 3 points.
I have to admit, I'm a little bit surprised on a short yardage situation when they've had success hitting up in there and finding a gap. You see Stuart Hill bust his way through there. A good read on the play. He knows where it's going. He gets there. There's no chance for the play to even form.
Louis has made 2. He has missed 1. 33-yard attempt is good, and it is 19-16. The Eskimos' lead has been reduced to 3 points. 2 turnovers have...
What? Soccer players, it's time to get your kicks. Learn how to improve your footwork, feinting, how to shoot and score. Become a better soccer player from head to foot. It's all here in an easy-to-watch 3-part video cassette series appropriately titled On the Attack. Designed by international soccer coach Franz van Balkum, On the Attack takes you step-by-step through more than 60 individual and group drills that will improve your offensive skills to score more goals. Part 1 covers fast footwork and feinting. Part 2 covers the all-important dribbling skills and drills. And in Part 3, you'll learn the ins and outs of shooting and heading. Each cassette is only $19.95, or get all 3 for just $49.95. And if you order now, you'll be just in time for Christmas kicks. To order, call 1-800-972-5858. That's 1-800-972-5858. Call now.
Lots to cheer about for Lions supporters in this second half. Williams has to let it take a bounce, and here comes the gizmo to the middle of the field. To the 50-yard line of the Lions as Gizmo Williams excites the fans for the first time today. He rips a big run.
Well, there he just showed us and Larry Donovan the one thing he fears most about Henry Williams. Once he gets the ball, he reaches full speed faster than anybody. When he kicks in and goes, and he does it right now, he gets up that seam. If it isn't for Lou Pasaglia, this is another one for him.
Flanagan running around, still running, and he's going to run a long way until somebody gets to him, and Dunnigan tries to beat another tackle. Andre Francis hit him and knocked him down, but Dunnigan had lots of room ahead of him, and he thought not about passing once he saw that.
Well, things certainly have started to open up. A couple of turnovers. Dunnigan looks like he's going to take it on himself. The excitement's beginning to build. You can see it and you can feel it in the stands here at Commonwealth Stadium.
23-yard line of the Lions. First down, Eskimos. Running into the sidelines, and the pass is caught for a touchdown by Stephen Jones.
It's almost like the Eskimos say, oh yeah, we'll take this. A nice ball by Matt Dunnigan, but the key is he has lots of time to throw. No obstructions in his face. No one limiting his throwing motion. And there has been a change in the secondary. Keith Gooch is still in the corner, but Nelson Martin has moved to the halfback in place of Mel Bird. And Todd Wiseman has been playing safety.
Garrett makes the extra point, and just like that, the Eskimos go back in front by more than a touchdown, by more than the 7 points that they need to clinch first place today. It's a 26-16 ball game.
Well, the combination of Brian Kelly and Stephan Jones really is the classic. Brian Kelly has all the moves in the world, good quickness, and Stephan Jones can literally outrun anybody. That's how he scares defenses. Again, Stephan Jones runs a bit of a post corner. He's going to push the secondary man to the post, then turn it out to the corner just across from the goal line. Dunnigan knows where he's going to go, leads him to the spot. Says, you betcha.
Okay, CFL! Well, that certainly takes some of the sting out of the BC comeback, the 10 points that the Lions got on 2 turnovers, but those points are still important. The Lions down by 10 points. And here's Jim Sandusky on the kick return. Flags come down. There was no doubt about that penalty call.
Legal block, BC number 70.
Guys on your special teams that hustle, like Craig Schaefer, Chris Johnstone, Blake Marshall, it forces return teams to sometimes do something a little bit illegal to keep you out of the play.
Penalty sets the Lions back to their 15-yard line. The wall along the line of scrimmage to Williams. Man with a lot of speed.
Well, not only is the excitement picking up in the stands, but on the field, things will build up somewhat. The tension, the intensity, a few scraps going. That quick screen to Byron Williams, a great block thrown out front of him by John Pankratz. You just see the end of it there. I'm sorry, Jan Carinci. He put Stanley Blair on his back.
On second down, DeWalt throws it up and incomplete. Stanley Blair running stride for stride with Byron Williams. DeWalt is complaining that something illegal happened downfield, but the official doesn't see it. Frankly, I didn't either.
Well, one way to take away somebody's quickness and speed is don't let him get off the line of scrimmage cleanly. Make him start over again downfield, and I think that's exactly what Stanley Blair did. because DeWalt takes a short drop and wants to throw it over. There's no place to throw it to because he's jammed his man.
Ismo hoping for another big punt return. Nice high punt. He'll have to go back at his 40-yard line. No room for Williams. He's up close to the 45. It is 26 for the Eskimos and 16 for the Lions.
There's an easier way to enjoy fresh seafood at Bet & Jesse's Fish and Chips. Delicious fish and chips, clams, oysters, lobster, and shrimp. Also chicken and hamburgers.
Presenting the Bet & Jesse's special. Savory fish and chips, coleslaw, beverage, roll and butter. All for only $4.65.
Bet & Jesse's Fish and Chips, the best seafood in town on Grand River east of Inkster.
Hello, hunters. Shooter Service is ready for you. Choose from a complete line of shotguns and rifles. Ammo for all your hunting needs. Also tools and components for reloading. Scopes, cases and gun safes, outdoor videos. Archery supplies, compound and recurve hunting bows, arrows, and accessories. Shooter Service's friendly, knowledgeable staff wants to make your hunting happy. Shooter Service on 6 Mile and Middle Belt in Livonia.
Why is this man being so unfair to his wife? Enjoying his cold relief while she suffers, feeling no desire to sneeze while she stifles hers, without all the coughs and the runny nose that torture her night, resting in the same bed where she tosses and turns. Why? Because while she took a cold tablet, he took NyQuil. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head fever so you can rest medicine. Now a new cherry flavor, too.
Showtime has exclusive movies you won't see on HBO. Not this month, not next month, not next year. Showtime has the hits HBO misses.
They're ready to pin him as soon as you give ground to get to the outside, and they'll wall him off for you, okay? Give 5 and you'll get around there. Ismo Williams limped off the field after that last run. Dunnigan, a great job to get away from pursuit, and now it is Marco Sincar making a good gain out of a play that looked like a big loss.
It sure did. It looked like they had him on the run. I think that play was designed, a screen to the backside to Marco Sincar. But Dunnigan really never had an opportunity to come to his right and set up, so it's a little bit of freelance action here. You see, when we go downfield, the receivers get an opportunity to peel back, and this is when you lick your lips. It doesn't matter if you're 50 pounds lighter. Watch Rick House just hammer. Oh, you're not going to see it. Rick House just hammered Brett Williams.
House got away from Crawford, and a second man, Francis, fell down, but made a gain of almost 10 yards as the Eskimos' attack suddenly revs up after the Lions got within 3 points.
Eskimos looking like they did in that first and second series at the start of the football game. Nickel and diming it, mixing the plays up well, trying to keep that defense off guard, keep them on their heels.
On second and short, Jones over the top, taken down and shoved back a bit. He landed at about the 45. And I think they'll measure for a first down. See where they place the ball.
Looks like they're a hair short. Eskimos will keep that group of elephants, as they call them, the short yardage team in there.
Ball just touching the 45-yard line, and they don't have to go very far for the first down. Lions come quickly. Dunnigan took the ball at that point and got the first down, unless they decide that the whistle had blown before the play started. Obviously, it's offside BC anyway.
Offside, 70 BC, first down.
that cinches it. You'll see Durbin just plunge in there between the guard-tackle gap, knock Leo Blanchard back, but it's an easy way to get a first down.
First down at the 40. Here they come on the blitz. Dunnigan saw it. Can't find a receiver, though. And he'll do the safe thing. Not too safe if he's going to do that. Holding up with a ball in the hand, almost exposed there, and he took quite a hit.
Well, that's why he has that extra pad. You see on the number 16, the padding is a little bit more pronounced than it might be on a regular set of shoulder pads.
Neil, I don't think James Parker is on the field. When Wayne Durbin jumped offside, it immediately prompted the question, why is he in the game? And James Parker is indeed on the bench. Dunnigan again under a rush. That ball is going to be, I thought it was going to be picked off. 3 Lions there waiting for it to come down, and it didn't seem possible the ball could hit the ground, but Dunnigan lucky there.
They were all, the linebackers were crisscrossing. They all go by it at the same time, and they all watch it pop up. See Jackson, Konar, Ulmer, no one can get to it.
Wiseman was on Sincar's back pretty fast, I guess just in time, according to the officials. Todd Wiseman has been making some big plays in this game. He has BC's only touchdown. Cowrick with a field goal try, 46 yards. This one is good. Jerry Cowrick had missed 3, but he makes one now. He's 4 for 7 on the day. And now the score is Edmonton 29, BC 16. Let's pause 10 seconds for stations from coast to coast to identify themselves. You're watching the Canadian Football Network. The BC injury report is that Mel Bird has injured ribs and is not on the bench. James Parker does not have an injury, which prompts the question, why isn't he playing?
Well, when Matt Dunnigan scrambled in that last drive before scoring the touchdown, he went downfield. I saw Parker take after him and then slow down, and I don't think he re-injured the knee. I just think when you haven't been in a game, that knee is going to get tired. You can practice all you want. It's not like being in a football game.
Crawford on Cowrick's kickoff is hit at the 35, and that's as good a job as the Eskimos have done in limiting the Eskimos, the Lions' kick returns.
Craig Schaefer's won the Special Teams Award for the Eskimos the last couple of weeks. And he's a tough man to block, but he had some complaining to do after this particular play with the officials. Peter Vandenbos getting the helmet right on the shoulders. It was close, Craig, but that's a good block.
Flag comes down. DeWalt throws a bullet that is complete. The ball is caught pending the penalty flag. It is
55
against BC.
Well, the center, Ian Sinclair, is caught hooking on. There's a man over his nose, and he's a tough one. James Zachary, they've got to double team him. You just watch Tim Burnham step in and help out, but not before Sinclair grabbed on.
Ball back at the 25. First and 20 Lions. They fake the draw, they throw the screen, and the ball is dropped by Ray Krause.
Well, they had the makings of what looked like a pretty good play. A little bit of a fake draw to Sims, pull the defense over, and then get some big offensive linemen out front of Krause, but tried to one-hand it without success. And I think those are the types of plays you have to execute and be successful, because now they go back. It's 2nd and 10. It's a tough hole to work out of.
2nd and 20, a bigger hole.
Good point.
DeWalt has a lot of Schaefer. Interception, Edmonton. First down at the 37.
Well, Schaefer doesn't look like he's going to let that ball go, or maybe because DeWalt threw it so hard it's stuck in there, but when you're behind, you start to force a bit. And DeWalt wants to thread that ball in a very tight area. Schaefer just good coverage underneath, dropping from his linebacking spot. Good block to help him out. And a nice block coming up right there by Dan Kearns.
Eskimos came fast out of the huddle trying to catch the Lions off guard, and it didn't look as though the Lions were ready for that first down play. A run by Chris Skinner.
Well, Schaefer had an interesting start. Started with the Ottawa Rough Riders, and it didn't work out for him there. He was on waivers, and he was picked up by the Eskimos a number of weeks ago, and they've incorporated him back into the system. He began in Edmonton a couple of years ago. A hard-nosed defender.
Boy, the tempo of this game has just picked up right from the start. It hasn't let up a bit, and certainly since BC scored its 10 points, the game is being played at quite a pace. Rick House caught the pass on first down, a short game.
Nervous habit.
Gain of 4, the second out of 6, Edmonton, from the BC 22.
Dunnigan at the Lions 22. Trying to make the Schaefer interception really count. Dunnigan threw one into the ground. I don't know what happened to that one.
Well, though that pass wasn't near completed, the Eskimos did a good job of sprinting to that side and really shutting down any rush, any penetration. They can continue to do that, sprinting either left or right. They'll have their way with the secondary in time.
This will be Jerry Cowrick's 8th field goal attempt of the game, and we're not even at the end of the third quarter yet. 29-yard attempt. Hit the upright, went through, it's good. So he's made 5 of those 8, and the Eskimos now lead 32-16.
Well, if you can't deflect them off your own home field goalpost, you can't do it anywhere. It's a good thing those posts are high. It'd be a tougher decision for the refs underneath if they weren't.
Saying, what if I'd made all 8? You'd have tied a record, son. He might get more opportunities. First down, Lions from the 35. DeWalt throws a pass and is caught. The Pancrats had to come back to make sure he caught it. That inhibited his progress downfield. The end of the third quarter with the Eskimos leading by 16. In the fourth quarter, we'll talk to Winnipeg coach Mike.
Get your fresh roasted peanuts.
Back then, you bought Planters nuts fresh from the roaster, and one whiff drew you across the pond.
It's Mr. Peanut.
You could see the steam rising in the cold air.
Thank you.
Well, today, that goodness lives on in Planters Mixed Nuts, our finest assortment with that old-time roaster taste. Planters Nuts, that old-time goodness lives on.
Why do you invest with Charles Schwab?
Schwab is quick and courteous. I like the service and the savings.
Nobody tries to sell me anything. I get very good service.
Time is money, and I saved both.
Here at Schwab, we drive down your commission costs, and we do it with a level of service that you'll really appreciate.
For your free Schwab booklet, call toll-free 800-554-9000.
Due to time restraints and considerations, we will now move further ahead in this program.
Hello from the broadcast booth at Commonwealth Stadium. Open air, and the air isn't very cold today. Thank goodness. Edmonton leading 32-16 warming the hearts of their supporters. DeWalt lots of time to throw it, and he throws a pass that is incomplete. Stanley Blair says, I could have intercepted. Byron Williams says, I could have caught it. They collided, no flag, incidental contact. Second down from the 37-yard line. Lions still searching for a way to move the football. Walt completes that one. It was punishment time for Jim Sandusky after he caught the ball, but it's a big first down for the Lions. First catch for Jim Sandusky, and that shows you what kind of a job the Eskimos have done where they can take this man out of the offense.
Working on Steve Benjamin. Benjamin respects Sandusky. Sandusky makes the move, gets to the first down marker, and then makes his break out. But they need to hit a big one.
Lions at their 49. DeWalt is getting time now, and he is finding receivers. Dan Carinci, a favorite target over the middle.
Well, it's the diversity there showing now in their offense by spreading the ball around a bit is what they needed earlier on. And of course, it doesn't help or hurt much if you protect your quarterback and give him this much time to throw.
Fired that one too hard and too high to Carinci.
Well, that's Carinci's in a pack there. Danny Bass is moving in, ready to make the kill if the ball had been caught. Roy DeWalt not having one of his best days, but it goes back as you look at Danny Bass receiving the signals from the sidelines from Don Southern or what defense to run. That nickel and dime doesn't work against the defense. You've got to have the big play in your repertoire. And the Lions just haven't had it today.
Second and 10 for the Eskimos, 32. DeWalt throws. Interference, and it's a good call. Never did Benjamin turn around. You call that screening if you want. It's defensive pass interference officially.
Well, you know, you see Larry Ruck give him a tap in the back.
Forward pass interference, Edmonton, number 24, first down, BC.
He really has pretty good position on Sandusky. Keeps him to the outside. You see Benjamin's looking right in the face mask, waiting for a reaction. Sandusky, you know, it's almost like DeWalt tried to throw the ball at Benjamin's back, and if that was the case, that's a smart play.
Sure, if Benjamin turns around, everything's okay. In fact, he probably intercepts the pass. Freddie Sims, almost a forgotten man as this game has progressed. Gets a handoff, but not much yardage. Danny Bass is on top of him. And Dan Kearns was in there strongly as well.
I am still surprised, and I mentioned it earlier, that they're not using Sims or Krause more out of the backfield and sending them upfield in the middle area to try to tie up those linebackers, because that could help out their inside receivers.
Sims caught passes as well as running for yardage last week against Calgary. He hasn't today. DeWalt is under a rush this time, throws it low and wide of Sandusky. Benjamin covering Jim Sandusky again. Third down, and with 6.5 minutes left, it looks as though the Lions think they need a touchdown. Or do they?
I think they're right. I think they've got to get this in the end zone.
But Pasaglia is going to come in. If he kicks a field goal, it would reduce the lead to 13. Always the possibility of a fake, however.
Well, you've got to wonder, he's got that glove on the right hand off. That's his throwing arm.
He kicks it, and it's good, and so the Lions are within 13 points now. The score is Edmonton 32 and BC 19.
Why is this man being so unfair to his wife? Enjoying his cold relief while she suffers, feeling no desire to sneeze while she stifles hers, without all the coughs and the runny nose that torture her night, resting in the same bed where she tosses and turns. Why? because while she took a cold tablet, he took NyQuil. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head fever so you can rest medicine. Now a new cherry flavor, too.
The #1 fitness exercise in the world is cross-country skiing. And now it can be duplicated in your home with Easy Glider. Just 20 minutes every other day, an hour a week is all it takes to strengthen and firm all major muscle groups and lose weight aerobically. You'll burn up to 400 calories per workout, plus tone chest, arms and back, calves, thighs, and buttocks. Notice the quality construction of the sturdy metal frame. This handsome unit folds down quickly for easy storage. Other ski simulators cost as much as $500, but Easy Glider is just $59.95, and your satisfaction is absolutely guaranteed. Grab the bargain. Call toll-free now.
To order your Easy Glider, call 1-800-542-4100. That's 1-800-542-4100. Use your credit card to avoid COD charges or send check or money order for $59.95 plus $9 shipping and handling to Easy Glider, Department 20, Canton, Ohio. But for faster service, call 1-800-542-4100.
Skill, precision, strength, and stamina. To bring you the best, ESPN has assembled an outstanding schedule of NFL games. Every Sunday night, your cable connection to the NFL is ESPN.
Sunday, live NFL action on ESPN. The defending Super Bowl champion New York Giants take on the New England Patriots at 8 Eastern, right after NFL primetime on ESPN.
Here's a look at the two players that have had some shoulder problems. Running back Freddie Sims of the Lions, after a hit from Larry Ruck, partially separated. And Matt Dunnigan, we're warming up the right shoulder to see how the left shoulder responds.
Less than 3 minutes to go. The Eskimos with the ball. Damon Allen. As far as he can throw it. Kelly can't get there. Incomplete with 2:45 left. Now, we're watching two games in one now. The Lions obviously still have a chance, though it may be a slim one, to win the game, but a better chance to cut into the lead and get it down below the 8 points that the Eskimos would need to clinch first place today. So BC, right till the end, will be trying to score points, even if the Lions don't have a chance to win the game.
And like you said, anything can happen. Edmonton has to go into Lansdowne Park, and though the Riders haven't had a great year, they've still got an awful lot of good football players, and they're going to be playing for their jobs for next year, so they'll be tough.
Gowrick has it blocked, and this is going to cut into the margin. Yes, it is. And this is going to put the Lions back in this game. A block punt for a touchdown. And BC finds every way to score except when they have the ball. Kevin Dixon has got a touchdown, and look out, Edmonton.
It seemed like the pressure came from the middle, and Cowrick's a little bit slow. That hesitation there for that second allows Durbin to come right up the pipe, get his hands on it. Now a little bit of soccer here. Let's get it in the end zone, or roll it into the end zone, and Kevin Dixon comes up with the ball.
There's the man who blocked the punt, and Kevin Dixon is the guy who fell on it for the touchdown, and now Louis Pasaglia kicks the convert. And the Eskimos lead by 6.
There it is. That slight hesitation allowed Durbin to go up the middle. And he gets on the ball, and he gets on it good. And now, who's going to get the points? Dixon or Moretto? And Dixon wins by a hair.
Suddenly, there is lots of time left for a BC victory in this game.
One more. I don't know. It makes you wonder, though, Dave, how you can still be in a football game when offensively they've just been almost non-existent for most of the game.
They rip the ball out of a running back's hands and score. They block a punt and score. Less than 150 yards of total offense for BC, and yet they could win the game. Pasaglia, long kickoff. Wilson. No gizmo in the game. Don Wilson runs it back and not very far. He's taken down short of the 30-yard line. Joe Faragalli got a nice haircut for this game.
Well, he said it was thinning out, and right now his lead's doing exactly that. He's got to be concerned. The momentum might have switched here. Matt Dunnigan back in at quarterback. They're going to have to get it going, and they're going to get it going here.
Dunnigan is throwing, tosses it off, incomplete. Sending it for Chris Skinner. Now, Joe Faragalli said he went through this all about the points and how many we need to win to clinch and how many that would keep the Lions alive next week. And he said, fellas, win the game and don't worry about how many points are up on the board. Just win. Even if it's by one, I'll be happy. Well, right now, he's got a 6-point lead. It's not enough to clinch first place today. And I wonder why they're throwing the ball. Do I ever?
I'll tell you, Brian Kelly turns into a defensive back there, because if he doesn't grab in time pulling Andre Francis's left arm down, that's an interception. Not returned for a touchdown, but it had been a turnover. And this ball seems to get away. The ball comes off the top of the arm. Now Kelly has to play it and play it smart. He yanks on that arm, and it's a good thing.
2 passes, both incomplete. Clock stops, and Cowrick is punting. This is a fine punt, maybe his best of the day. Gives Crawford a chance to return as he goes to the sidelines. He's away from one man and up to the 40-yard line, reaching for the 41 with more than 2 minutes to go. Blake Marshall down underneath it for the Eskimos. But the Lions now are asked to do what they haven't been able to do all day, and that's move the ball offensively. They've been able to score other ways, but not with their offense.
Well, they've got plenty of time, 2:13 on the clock. It's not a situation where they should have to force the ball downfield, control it, pick their plays properly. The stingy defense, though, they're working against.
A lot of noise from Commonwealth Stadium. Good surge by the Eskimos, but Ray Krause seemed to beat the initial charge and duck under it, get 5 yards.
That's where it's important to keep your feet. Don't just lean forward and take the gain where you'd fall. Try to bounce off or follow one of those big offensive linemen. Use them as a shield.
Sims is not there. It's Kevin Dixon with Ray Krause on 2nd and 5 from the 45. DeWalt throwing. Ball is caught. Excellent coverage on Jim Sandusky, but he jumps in front of Steve Benjamin, makes the catch, and here come the Lions. 1:51 remaining.
That's the same type of play that Benjamin was called on for interference, but Sandusky reacts this time. The ball's thrown behind.
It's at the 49 of the Eskimos. Ball is caught but out of bounds. Sandusky was out of bounds.
Well, they seem to be continuing to work on Benjamin because he refuses to turn around and face the quarterback. He's concerned, and rightfully so, with the receiver. Did he get that foot down? It looked like he's on the white line.
2nd and 10 with 1:44 left. Only 7 completed passes, and he's 1 long completion away from winning the game if he can hit a big strike. DeWalt throws it. Going down, he threw it, and it is incomplete. The fans would like a penalty flag thrown because there was not a BC receiver in the area. No penalty flag, 3rd down, and now what do the Lions do?
That's an excellent question. I'm sure Larry Donovan's asking his other coaches and maybe a few players.
Well, 1:39, you punt the ball and hope to get it back, obviously, and with a timeout and some good defense, you could do that. But once again, we have said it before and we'll say it again, Louis Pasaglia is capable of throwing or running and not punting. He does punt it. Good run by Richards as he breaks some tackles and goes out of bounds. He didn't want to do that. But But he held on to the ball, made some yards, and the Eskimos, 1:29 left, can now go in and run 3 plays. Of course, they can run out the clock if they can get a first down or 2.
Well, that's the key. I think they'd probably keep the ball on the ground, go to the plays that have been successful for them. Possibly a sweep to the short side of the field.
Dunnigan throws a pass. Out of bounds is Skinner. And I have a hard time understanding why they're putting the ball up in the air. I mean, it looks as though they're trying to get necessary margin to clinch first place today, exactly what Faragelli said they wouldn't do.
Well, and you'd think that Faragelli would reinforce that fact when he had his offense on the sidelines when the Lions had the ball. But you've got to take what a defense gives you. If it happens to be through the air, you might as well take it.
Well, that pass wasn't nearly as dangerous as the last second down pass that they threw. He's still throwing the ball. Sinkar catches. He's close to another first down.
I think this is just a classic example of how confident the Eskimos are in running and executing the plays on offense, knowing that the people are going to be there and that are going to adjust to the blitz, as Marco Sinkar does here. See, he gets inside of Nelson Martin. That's a different play if he tries to beat him outside, but he's in the right position to make the catch.
Second down, and they'll just take all the time this play allows them as far as running the ball and keeping the clock moving. Flags are down. There was an exchange after the play involving Nelson Martin.
There's the flag.
Discussing it with one of the offensive captains, Hector Patier. I don't think he's checking on him, so I'm sure he agrees.
Unnecessary roughness, number 4, BC. First down.
Unnecessary roughness is the call.
Well, this takes the ball into BC territory at the 45. Fans are really noisy now. At what point does the margin come into Joe Faragelli's mind? There's Nelson Martin taking a shot at, is that Marshall or Sinkar? Dunnigan throws, the ball is dropped by Chris Skinner. This is aggressive play by the Eskimos in this situation. If they wind up kicking a field goal down here and clinching first place today, it looks great. But one errant pass could be the biggest backfire you've ever seen in the CFL.
Oh, Carrick loosening that leg up, kicking it both on and off the tee. He's ready to win. He's ready to clear the spread up right now.
And moving the ball by throwing it, but the clock is really not moving as fast as they'd like, I don't think. Now they play it a little safer, and it'll be third down, and the Eskimos will have to punt. And that pretty well rules out, unless there's a turnover or something unexpected in the final minute, pretty well rules out the Eskimos clinching first place today.
Well, he's got his tee in his left hand, and that's going to be a, you know, the wind has calmed down somewhat, but if he does kick it, he's kicking into what wind there is. You know, if it goes in the end zone, do you give the point up, or does Crawford try to bring it back for a big one?
Carrick pounds it. It is short. And here comes Crawford. A block from behind will be called against the Lions. That gave Crawford the room he needed down the sidelines. And the play will come back.
Glenn Jackson tried to work his way around Rod Conop, who was covering the play. I think he's still called for clipping.
Holding, BC number 37.
He's done a lot of kicking today.
Well, and he made that field goal that could have given the Eskimos first place today. Again, a bit risky to try a field goal in that situation. I'm kind of surprised at the way the Eskimos have played these final 2 minutes. Now here's Roy DeWalt throwing to the sidelines. It is caught And out of bounds is Williams at the 25.
But you know, Dave, it's the aggressive nature of the Eskimos and the way they play offense, as wide open as they are, it might be tough for them to back off and just play conservatively. So I think you just, you go with the nature and the style of your team and keep going. And keep your fingers crossed for the head coach.
Second down, the Lions run the ball to the 20-yard line. They get a first down, and there are 29 seconds remaining, so BC has to put it up and hope pretty soon. Here comes the long one from Roy DeWalt. It's up there a long time. They're going to call pass interference as Williams was shoved out of bounds at about the 43-yard line.
Williams working on Stanley Blair. Blair was able to get him out of bounds, but
pass interference. Edmonton number 5. First down, BC.
Contact downfield. It's right in front of the Eskimo bench. And Don Southern and Joe Ferraghelli have a different view of it.
Put the ball down at the 45. 21 seconds left. DeWalt stands in there a long time. Now Williams comes back to the ball. He's got it. Byron Williams definitely shoved off Stanley Blair. There was contact down there. Blair was shoved, and Williams went back to the ball. There is no doubt offensive interference should have been called, and it wasn't.
Well, he's making an adjustment to the ball. He has to come underneath Blair. But instead of slowing down and making that adjustment, he gives it the old move of sliding the man by. And you're right. That could have been offensive pass interference. And what a play.
Well, Byron Williams gets credit for doing it. Now the Lions, 12 seconds to go. DeWalt throws into the end zone. Knocked down. Boy, Benjamin was right on Sandusky, and Sandusky is complaining about defensive pass interference.
Well, I think that was just good defense. Benjamin's been on Sandusky all day. Just been in his hip pocket. Once again, this time he's looking around. That's just good defense.
Ball at the 9-yard line. 9 seconds to go. DeWalt looking, throwing. The ball is caught. No touchdown with 5 seconds left. They are a yard away. And they want timeout to call a play with 5 seconds to go.
Is this a finish? I mean, it's unfortunate that play by Williams might be construed as offensive pass interference, but Larry Donovan wants some room. He wants to be able to talk with Conridge Holloway. They have to make the right decision right here.
Now I ask you, wouldn't 4 downs make this a better game?
Well, if they put it in on this play, I'd say no. No, the 3 downs, more exciting. It's a gambling type of game.
It's a rhetorical question, believe me. They are 2 yards away with 5 seconds to go. Nobody in the backfield. DeWalt is going to throw it up. Touchdown!
Unbelievable.
Jim Sandusky has just caught a pass that means first place to the BC Lions. And they finally get a touchdown offensively as Sandusky beats Benjamin.
They've gone to that play about 5 times, making Sandusky adjust to the football, putting Benjamin in a tough situation with his back to the quarterback. I don't know, it's all going to come back to that one play that got him there.
Well, Stanley Blair is still saying to himself that he was interfered with by Byron Williams, and it sure did look like it, but no flag came down. I guess the referee felt that Blair slipped down and just lost his balance by himself.
Boy, you're looking at
1 second remaining.
Say there's a young man who's played a one heck of a football game, done everything he's possibly can to take his team into first place, and to have it slip away like that is frustrating.
It's a funny game.
And it is a funny game.
The Eskimos are just stunned. I mean, there's just no other way to describe their feeling. And the Lions, they played 59 minutes and 59 seconds and couldn't score a touchdown offensively. And finally, on first and goal from the 2, or I guess it was second down, they throw it up, and Benjamin turns one way and Sandusky turns the right way, and it is a touchdown, BC.
I have to admit, I'm a little surprised at the play they called in the end zone. I thought they might try to run it.
Right along the ground, Gizmo Williams is not there. Look at this. Where are we, Melbourne? The game is over. The fans don't know quite what to say. Neither do the Eskimos, and the BC Lions, who had no offense all day long, less than 150 yards, somehow pulled the game out with a fumble recovery and a block kick and a questionable long pass to Byron Williams, and then a short pass to Jim Sandusky. It's all over, and the Lions have first place to themselves.